Okay, so next concept is inheritance. Okay, inheritance in Java. Okay, right. So to understand about this concept, I'm going to come up with some simple real example. Okay, so the example looks like it will be very simple, but let's try to understand the concept, and maybe if required, I will come up with other example for you guys as your question. Okay, yeah. So for this, what I will do is I'll just come up with some simple example here, which will look like this. Let's say I have three different persons. Okay, let's assume that we have a person called father, son, and then the grandson. Okay, so I have three different persons. So the name of those persons is father. Okay, and then the next one is okay. This one I'll just make it grandfather. Okay, so this one I'm just naming it as son. Okay, let's assume that we have a three set of people like this. Okay, so in general terms, so when we talk about son is like a very small kid. Okay, like where he is like around 2 years or 3 years of age. Okay, just assume for understanding purpose. Okay, so what are the actions or whatever the behaviors he will be having? Like he can play, okay, he can sleep, or he can eat. Okay, so these three are some common behaviors like where every child will be doing. Okay, but naming wise, I'm just giving son. Okay, let's say this small kid wants some toys or he wants some eatables. Okay, so can he directly go to the market and he can get it? No, because he is very small kid. He don't have a capability that he can go to the market and he can get some toys of his own. So what he could do is either he should take some help from his father or his grandfather. But when can this happen? If there is a relationship between all of these three people, right? So that means this son should have come from this father, and this father should have come from this particular grandson. There should be a relationship between all of these persons. Then only this guy can go to either his father or his grandfather. Or if he can goes to some other person who he don't know, and if he asks for some help like, hey, can you get me some ties, obviously other people are not going to get it because there is no relationship between them, right? And okay, that's one example for son, a small kid I'm talking about. And also assume that one more person called father. Okay, so this guy, okay, is a father of this person, which is son. And let's assume he's not doing let's assume he's not earning, he's still studying, just assuming that way. Okay, let's say he wants some books or he wants something. Okay, so what he can do, as he is not earning at this moment, obviously he can go to his father and he can take, hey, I need some money to purchase some books or to purchase something else, right? But when can that happen? Again, these two guys should have some relationship between these two, right? These two persons, right? So what is that we are going to get benefit from this is, let's say at this moment, if I don't have capability to do something, then I can take help from others, but I should have a relationship between me and others, right? So what is that is, instead of we doing some task, we can take help from others who can do it or who are doing it already. That is what the benefit we are going to get. Okay, in general terms I'm telling. Okay, so but when we talk about the technical terms, I mean in Java, okay, let's say I have some set of methods in grandfather, I have few more methods in father class. Okay, I have few other methods in Sun class. Okay, let's say Sun wants something, but as he is a small guy and he don't know how to implement a method, he can call some methods present in father class, or he can call some methods present in grandfather. With that, what is the benefit that we are going to get is we are going to reduce the redundant code. So if someone has already implemented some logic, why should I need to do it again? I can just reuse them, right? So that is what the benefit that we are going to get with inheritance concept, right? So we might have heard this concept, but we will just try to understand this again and try to practically understand this. Okay, work with this example. Okay, so that's the reason I just coming up with very simple program, very simple example. Okay, so what I will do is I'll just try to list out some set of behaviors what father does, what grandfather does, and what son does. Okay, and we will also try to understand whether inheritance concept is working with this example or not. Okay, so to do that, what I'll do is I'll just go back to my Eclipse. Okay, let me try to create a new package for inheritance concept. Okay, I'm going to create a package called com.inheritance. Okay, com.inheritance. That's it. So let me create a package. Okay, so a new package is created. So let me close all of these open classes here. Let me save it. Okay, yeah. Now under this package, what I will do is I'll create a class. Okay, so the name of the class I am going to create is grandfather, father, and then son. Right, as I have mentioned in the diagram. Okay, and along with the class, I am going to create some set of methods. Okay, so method is nothing but an action what every person will be doing. Okay, let's assume grandfather can drive. Okay, and grandfather can earn. Okay, so I have taken two different methods in grandfather. Okay, with the names drive and earn. And in the same way, I will create two more methods for father and two more methods for son also. Okay, let's assume father also can drive, grandfather also can drive. Okay, and I'll let me take one more method for father as study. Okay, and for son, as he's a small kid, so his normal general behaviors would be like playing, or I can just take it as eating, something else. Okay, so these are the general behaviors I have listed in the form of method. Okay, so let me go back to Eclipse and I will implement these methods in every class. Drive and earn method in grandfather, drive and study method in father, playing and eating method in son. Okay, so let me go back to Eclipse. I'll create a new class with the name grandfather. Okay, but let me make this as capital letter. Okay, grandfather. I'm not going to select any main method as of now, just finish it. Okay, yes, a new class is going to be getting created. Yes, it's created. Okay, now what I will do is, as we just discussed, I'm going to create a method called earn method. Okay, and I am not going to take any parameters. Let me write void because I don't want it to do some calculations and return something. So I'm just writing some message over here. So I'll just write some simple message as, let's say, father is earning. Okay, this is a simple method I have implemented. Okay, father is earning. Okay, in the same way, let me implement or create one more method with the name drive. Okay, so I'm just writing drive, and as usually, let me write void in front of that. Okay, and I'll just make it public. That's it. So we can see a new method we have written, and inside this I'll just write system.out.println. Okay, I'll just write father is driving. Okay, driving in, let's say 20 to 30 kilometers per hour. I'm just writing in this way. Okay, as father is an aged guy and he will take more precautions and he don't wanted to drive very fastly. He wanted to go slow and he have to make sure he's safer enough. Okay, so that's where like in general we'll see most of the fathers will drive very slowly when they are driving. Okay, so I'm just writing in this way. Okay, father is driving in 20 to 30 kilometers per hour. Okay, so with this, I have completed implementing the first one, which is grandfather class with these two methods, whatever we thought of. Okay, the same way, I will try to create one more class with the name father with these two methods again, drive and study. Okay, let me go back to Eclipse. So under the same package, com.inheritance package, I am going to create a new class. So the name of the class I'll just give as father. Okay, no need of main method, finish it. Right, a father class is created. So let me start creating a method. So the first method is drive method. Okay, so let me implement and I'll just try to write void. We go maybe void and also make it public. Okay, so inside this method, I'll just write system.out.println. I'll write a simple message like father is driving in. Let's say as this guy is younger and he can drive like 50 to 80. I'm just writing some statement like this, kilometers per hour. Okay, as he's a son of grandfather. So yes, he is an younger guy. Yes, he can drive much faster than his father. Okay, so that's about the drive method. Okay, and in the same way, one more method is study. Study is the method which we wanted to implement. I'm going to make it void and then public. Okay, public void study. So inside this, I'm writing system.out.println. I'll just say like father is studying. That's it. Simple message I'm writing. Okay, so with this, I have completed implementing the second class with two methods, whatever we have already decided, which is drive and study. Okay, so we clearly see that drive method is common for both father class and grandfather class. Okay, so in the same way, I'll just try to make this as son. Okay, I'll create one more class called son. Okay, I'll just go ahead and create a new class. So the name of the class I'll just give as son. No need of selecting any main method, finish it. Okay, so in this class again, let me create a two methods. One is play method. Okay, and let me make it void because we don't want it to do any calculations and return it. And I'm just making it public. Okay, so inside this play, I'll just write again a simple statement like son is playing. Okay, sun is playing. The same way, let me create one more method, which is eat. It is the method eat or eaten. I will just write as usually void and then make it public. That's it. Okay, so I'll just write system.out.println. Okay, I'll say sun is eating. Okay, sun is eating. So with this way, yes, we have completed implementing all three different classes like this. Okay, let's say this sun class want some drive method, but can he go ahead and implement? No, because he don't have his capability that he can go ahead and implement. So what he can do, he can either ask father class or grandfather class. But to have, I mean, to ask or to take or invoke from other classes, obviously there should be a relationship as I was mentioning. Okay, that relationship, how we can build it, right? So that can be done something like this. Okay, so we can tell like father came from grandfather. Okay, and in the same way, son came from, okay, so sons came from father. So I can just put some relationship between these three people. Okay, but that relationship, how we can do it through program is using some simple keyword called extends. Okay, extends is the keyword which tells that these two are related, right? So father came from grandfather, son came from father, something like that, right? So let me put that over here also. Okay, so with this way, right, now son is related to father and father is related to grandfather. Okay, now let's say if son wants, he wanted to drive, he wanted to go to drive to get something, yes, he can ask father, he can ask grandfather also, right? So these two both people can help him, right? In the same way, if father wants something, yes, he can take from the grandfather, right? So that can be happen only if there is a relationship. Okay, that relationship we can do it or make it in programmatically with the help of this keyword called extends. Okay, so what we will do is I will just tell programmatically that son extended from father. Okay, father extended from grandfather, right? So let's do that. So I'll just go back to my Eclipse and I will tell that son extends father. That's it. With this, these two are related with each other. But until we write this, there is no relationship between one class with another class. Okay, we are clearly telling that to Java that hey, Java, this is a new class called son, and this son extends further. That means now this son can access his own methods and further class methods also. Okay, now in the same way, let me try to put an extends keyword in further also. I'll just tell father extends grandfather. See, automatically now there is a relationship between father and grandfather. Okay, now if I go to grandfather, grandfather is the top level class. Okay, so this is not extending from some other or any other classes, right? In this way, I have linked one class with the another class. Okay, now what I will do is I'll create a new test class and I will check whether son is able to access his own methods and his father's methods and his grandfather methods also or not, right? So to do that, let me go back to Eclipse now, and here under same package, let me create a new class and I'll just name this as test inheritance. Test inheritance, select mine and then finish it. Right, now we are able to see a new class created with the name test inheritance. Yes, now what I will do is I will try to create an object for sun class. Okay, I'll create an object for the sun class. What happens if I try to create an object for sun class is what we'll try to understand. Okay, so let me go back. I'll write new sun. Sun is the name of the class. Okay, so I'm just writing this simple statement. Okay, if I write this simple statement like new sun, what is going to happen is what we'll try to understand. Okay, so yeah, as usually we know, as per our knowledge, so Java will try to create an object. Okay, so the object will looks like something like this. Okay, let's assume that this is a sun class object. Okay, the name of the object is sun. Okay, all right, so what happens, control goes to sun class. Okay, so in sun, so what Java will does is Java will check whether sun is the top level class or this is extending from some other classes. Here I can see sun is not top level class, it is extending from a class called father. So what happens, control goes to father class. Okay, and again it will check whether father is the top level class or this is extending from some other class. Here it says father is not top level because we can see the extend keywords and there is some other class called grandfather. So control goes to grandfather. and again it will check grandfather is the top level class or still it is extending from some other class. Here it is not, yeah, here it is top level class. It's not extending from some other classes. So what happens? Control goes inside grandfather class and it will check how many instance variables are available. If there is an instance variable available, then it will allocate memory. But at this moment, in our example, we don't have any instance variables created, so instance methods are there. So what happens? These two instance methods will be listed in the object, right? So that will be listed over here. So earn is the method, and then the next one is drive is the method. Okay, so let me put this over here. Okay, earn drive. Okay, so it has completed listing these two methods in the object. After listing, it goes back to the place from where it came. Okay, it came from father, so it goes back to the father. And in father class it will check how many instance variables available in father class. So in father class we don't have any instance variables created, so you don't worry. So it goes to instance methods. So how many instance methods we have? Two instance methods. So these two instance method names will be listed again in the object. Okay, so the next one again is drive method, and then the study method, right?
So will it
So
duplicate drive method? Will it duplicate drive method twice?
yes, that's fine. I will come back to that.
Okay.
Okay, the drive method and study method. Yes, so whatever the methods I have it in this, yes, I'm going to go ahead and list it in the diagram. That's it. Once this is done, right, so it goes back to the place from where it came. From where it came to father, right, so it goes back. Yes, it went to son. And in son, again it is checking how many instance variables available in the sun class, right? So we don't have any instance variables available, so we have only instance methods like play method, eat method. So these two methods will be listed again in the object, right? So play is the method and eat is the one more method, right? So now if we completely look at this, okay, so this is the object we have. Okay, where this object sun class object is able to totally invoke, right? 2 plus 2 plus 2, that means 6 methods he is able to invoke it. Okay, right? So now let me go back. Once I click back arrow mark here, it goes back to the place from where it came. So it started in test inheritance, it went to son, it went to father, it went to grandfather, and again it came back to father, it came back to son, and then it came back to inheritance, test inheritance method class, right? So yes, we just created an object, and this object I'm going to initialize to a variable called s, which is of type sum. Okay, save it. Now let me check whether through this variable I am able to invoke all of these methods or not. Okay, let me put this something like this. Okay, so the variable for this is s because this is a sun class object. Okay, so through this variable, yes, I should be able to invoke n, drive, drive again, study, play, eat. That means when sun has a capability that he can able to invoke his own methods, his father methods, and his grandfather methods also, right? So yeah, let me go back. I'll just try to write s dot. First of all, let me try to invoke his own methods, play, eat. Okay, I'll just write play. See, whenever I write play, there is no errors. In the same way, let s dot eat. See, whenever I write eat, yes, there is no error. In the same way, s dot, what is the his father methods, drive and study. Okay, so whenever we write drive, no errors. S dot study, no errors. Okay, and in the same way, s dot, we have drive method again in father. Let me select this, and s dot n is the method which we have it in the grandfather. Save it, right? So now I try to invoke all the methods, his own methods, his father methods, and his grandfather methods also. Okay, let me save it. Click on run and see what is going to happen. Yes, it completed executing. Okay, let's look at one by one. So the first method which we invoked is play method. Yes, it clearly says son is playing, no problem at all. And the next one is eat. Yes, he is able to access his own method, son is eating. And next one is drive method from father class. Yes, it is printing his father as this child's father is younger guy and he's driving in 50 to 80 kilometers per hour. That's fine, no problem. Okay. And the next one is study method. So it's printing father is studying. His father, I think I should write here as grandfather. Okay. Grandfather. Okay, let me save and let me run it once again. Right. Okay, so it clearly says that father is studying. Okay, but next time, whenever I'm trying to invoke drive method, but still drive method is pointing to father class drive method only, but not grandfather class drive method. Okay, there is some reason for it. So I will try to explain that in next class. But till then, just keep that question with you. I will cover it. Okay, next one is earn. Yes, whenever I try to call earn method, yes, it clearly says that grandfather is earning, right? So just for now, just try to understand. Yes, if we are able to create an object for some class, he is able to access his own methods, his father methods, and his grandfather methods also. That means it's like very general example, like yes, grandson can access his father's properties or his grandfather's properties also. There is no problem with it, right? So that's the way how this inheritance is going to work, right? So in the same way, we will try to create an object for father, grandfather, and we'll see some other concept related to this. We'll continue the same example tomorrow. Okay, any questions so far?
Yeah, one question, sir. That is, now we are seeing through the object, we are anyhow invoking the instance variable and instance method. We have not invoked any instance variable. What about static variables and static methods? That inheritance concept is not applicable to them?
Yes, static we can just directly call. So whenever we covered our second example, yes, class name dot method name or class name dot variable. It's very simple. So we no need to create any object.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got it, sir. But that I'm just talking about the inheritance concept. Is it applicable only to instance variables or static also?
Applicable to
Oh,
static.
it is. Oh, okay, okay. Right, right.
Same thing, same thing. So if we have any static variables and methods in superclasses, yes, that will be accessible in subclasses also, right? So we will be calling like top level class as superclass and next levels as child class or bottom class, something like that. Okay.
Okay, sure. And so one more question is that does it need to be public always when you declare any method or a variable that has to be public? Private, when we don't declare public, it will be by default private, correct, sir?
Not private. It will be default. I will cover that topic sometime.
Okay, but public has to be there for inheritance, you're saying?
Yeah, I will. Yes, for inheritance, it should be public. Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
No money.
Yeah. Okay.